Great experiences build great leaders. Great leaders build great teams. This is Building Great Sales Teams.
All right, guys, welcome back to the podcast. We are live on Facebook today, and we've got an exciting one. I'm excited about it. We've got Michael Park. He's the founder of Synergy Pest Control. He's an expert in sales with a major in my personal favorite, door-to-door. Michael, welcome to the show, brother.
Thank you, bro. Thanks for having me. Excited.
So I got to ask here, if y'all notice, both of our hats look very similar. I've told you about Apex before, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And so where'd the logo come from?
Dude, I didn't even know this. I saw this like 2 or 3 years after I designed the logo.
So you're saying you had it first, is what you're saying. You're saying Stuman copied you.
Copycat? What are you doing, brother? Come on. No, I came up with it in my head. And coming soon, I mean, we got some tweaks on the logo. So this was a couple years ago. I came out with this logo probably 5-6 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a smidge tweak coming soon. So
okay,
you'll see that.
A little separator.
just a little bit.
I've got let's see. It's funny because we came up with this logo probably in 16 or 17.
Oh, I love it.
It's this, you know what I mean?
It's all just so, the triangle.
Like-minded.
That's right. So something with sales. It's like leadership. Oh, I don't know. You can connect all the dots.
Exactly. All right. So I was on your Facebook page and I noticed you just shot a commercial for your company.
Yeah.
And you didn't look that comfortable in it. So how was that experience?
Bro, I'll be straight up with you. They told me that it was going to be a voiceover. So I was like, yo, I'm just going to sit here, go over the words, but they were filming also, and it showed zero of my personality. I'm pretty energetic, get after it, but I was a stick and a half, and this is all over now. So yeah, we're going to change it. So, coming soon.
Because when we first jumped on a call, you had this issue or whatever, so you reached out, we jumped on a call, and you were just a ball of energy, dude. I was like, this is my kind of people. You know what I'm saying? Then I saw the commercial, and I'm like, what happened to Michael? Where'd Michael go?
Yeah, it's called bipolar. No, I'm just kidding. No. I have all these different names for myself. No, it was weird. It was so weird, and coming soon is the new Michael. So
okay. Good, man.
So yeah, we'll bring the energy this next video.
Okay, so I don't know what you guys call it, but you guys just got back from a summer launch trip or a recruiting event. What was this thing you guys did in St. George?
Yeah, so we want to build the culture for Synergy Pest Control the best we possibly can. I feel like getting to know the people that work for us is super key. So we went to St. George, did some awesome hikes, did some challenging things, hung out, played a little golf, but all around just mostly getting to know the guys and them getting to know the team. I just feel like it was super valuable, and you can't go wrong with spending time with your team. So
yeah, I love it. Whenever, unfortunately the way we were built, because a lot of our guys were older, right? And they had kids and families and everything. It's like they weren't going to take a vacation to hang out with us. You know what I'm saying? Right. If they took a vacation, they were hanging out with their family, right? But we did have a lot of road trips, that we would have stuff planned at night and stuff like that. So what was your favorite, I guess, event that y'all did of the whole thing?
Man, we went on this amazing hike. It was like a water hike. So if any of you guys know St. George, it's red rocks everywhere. And it's luckily for us guys in Utah, it's like a 3.5-4 hour drive, depending on how fast you drive. You pull up around the corner, you got these big red rocks, you got arches,
nice,
and just fantastic. Have you been before?
No. What park is it?
Well, there's all sorts of parks. We didn't end up going to any crazy parks, but we found this hike. We found this hike that was like a slot canyon, And you basically are swimming throughout the whole hike. You're in and out of water. You're jumping off cliffs to get to the next
That's
portion.
insane.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
It's amazing, man. We were able to build some really, really cool experiences. We filmed a lot of the stuff. And yeah, it was amazing. Just beautiful, beautiful hikes. Amazing hikes.
Badass recruiting video come from that.
Oh yeah, for sure. Coming soon.
Yeah, I remember I stayed in St. George for one of our RBO meetups.
Mm-hmm.
I just kind of like started walking in one direction and ran into some cool stuff. And I forgot what it's called. It's something rock.
Man, there's red ledges. There's red rocks everywhere. I mean,
yeah.
You can experience it all.
Gosh, you can see it from downtown. It says it right there.
Oh,
and then,
Dixie Rock.
There you go. Dixie Rock. And then like there's the rock, right? But then above that, there's a whole park area back there. And that's what I hiked. And I just got some amazing pictures out there. So I imagine all your guys' Instagrams and everything were going crazy.
They blew it up. Yeah, they loved it.
Awesome, man.
It's fantastic.
So the whole thought behind doing that for your team was to create that camaraderie, bring the guys closer together, and that's something that really doesn't happen, I would say, enough from the like Texas and up side of things. You know what I'm saying? Right. It's a different culture, right? When the first time I saw the amazing culture that these Utah boys had, it was like, dang, you know what I mean? I want to go grab about 10 of those guys and come back down to Texas with them. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
The first thing I saw was from Vivint.
Yep.
Right. And then I got a hold of one of their recruiting books where they went through like the company, the values, and then like they showed all the swag and everything. And that's what really inspired me at that point to start including that in our sales program. It's like, hey, we've got, our core values and everything. And then also like all the different swag in the company and stuff like that. Where did let's just go way back. Let's get into story time here, right?
Okay. Yeah, sure.
How did you get started in sales and kind of what brought you to this point?
Man, so us boys in Utah, you probably already know we're a religious state, right? The Mormons is what they call us, okay? So my first sale was selling Jesus, right? So I actually came to Dallas, Texas, and that was my first experience of talking to people, knocking on their door, saying, "Hey, I've got a message about Jesus Christ that can change your life," right? And so that was selling Jesus is difficult to those Baptist people that love Jesus already, trying to get them to change kind of certain things about their day-to-day life and to maybe jump on board with us, right? Ultimate conversion, right, is the ultimate goal.
Yeah.
So that's where it started. And we were missionaries, right? Went door to door, talked to thousands and thousands of people, was able to baptize a lot of people and close the deal is what they would say, right? But in the sales world, but I really just I found what I was good at, and I was able to pursue that right after my mission. I was obviously here in Utah, you're approached. Everyone that went on a mission or plans on going on a mission is approached by someone to go knock doors, right? If you have any interpersonal skills.
You did it for free.
So
you're fully qualified.
well, I paid to do it.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you guys paid to do it.
Yeah, we paid to go on these missions, and it changes our lives and our perspective on life, and finding out like what is really important, right? But yeah, and then the steps continued, right? I went out and I was like, yo, I haven't sold anything except lemonade and Jesus, right? But I'm going to go ahead and give it a shot. So my first area, I went out to Colorado with a kind of a family friend, local company, and had zero expectations. My training was minimal. And someone showed me a door approach and closed one deal right off the bat, and then it was off to the races from there.
Was this pest control?
Yep, it was pest. Yep. And then just continued to work on my tax. And and my sales skills on the doors, because it's a different sell than, I mean, every sell's a little bit different, but you got to get good at that certain type of sell if you're on the doors. So I just continued to work, right? I had grit and I had tenacity, and a mindset of never giving up, even if you have those hard days. So, and luckily I still have that in my heart of never giving up through the challenges, thick and thin. Right. So had a great summer. I was the top rookie, one of the top sales reps in the company, right off the bat. And so I told myself, this is fantastic. I made great money in a short period of time, and I just wanted to escalate that to another level. And that's, and then I continued to go down that path of recruiting, building teams, selling, being the top reps with the companies that I'm engaged with. And then ultimately, we started Synergy Pest Control.
Let me ask you, let me rewind a little bit here and ask you, what do you think? Because you're surrounded by, these guys that are, young, and you guys are all like, and I don't mean to stereotype you here, but you're all like young, good looking, and fit. You know what I'm saying? Like, surrounded, right? And so kind of what made you the top salesperson besides the obvious, which is the numbers, right? Why do you think you separated yourself from those guys, which is already an elite group of guys in terms of door knocking?
Yeah. And if you're in the door-to-door space, it's probably the most challenging job that you're ever going to do, right? Getting out of the car is the hardest thing that you're going to do, right? But once you're out, your guns are blazing. It's rock and roll time. So really for me, I think what helped me is getting involved with sports at a young age, getting involved with a structure, really played a key role with my growth, and still does to this day. And I'm sure it does for you as well. And a lot of people that are going to listen to this, being involved with certain things at a young age, is really key to mastering and overcoming your challenges on a day-to-day basis. A lot of kids these days, man, haven't gone through the challenges, haven't gone through the pain. So the second it gets hard, they give up, right? So try to find yourself doing challenging things at a young age, so that when things do get hard, when you get married or when you have children or a struggling marriage, whatever it is, you're like, you know what? I went and did this when I was in high school or when I was in college, and I was able to push through it. And it's a mindset. It's a mindset in your brain to push through the challenging things. Failure happens only when you give up. It's not being the best salesman. It's not being the best entrepreneur, because we're all on different paths. We're all on different journeys in our life. You can't compare yourself to other people, because that's when you get yourself stuck. That's when you get yourself in trouble, and it's going to pain you. It's going to pain you, and you're not going to be able to be successful. So ultimately what drove me is the muscle that I had built at a young age, going on a mission, getting rejected 4 million times, right? Getting tackled as a running back, right? Over and over and over again. And I didn't want to get up, or having practices, the 2-a-days or 3-a-days. I had an old school football coach that would do what you call pink bellies. So if you did something wrong or you didn't complete a play, the whole team would line up in twos, and you ran through it, and you got smacked in the stomach. You take your shirt off, you get smacked in the stomach.
Oh my gosh.
And you would be, and he's gotten fired multiple times from Texas schools, Arizona schools, and he was a blessing in my life. You may think, hey, that is crazy. What the heck is going on? And they don't have coaches like that necessarily anymore. But it was, he taught me discipline. He taught me hard work. He taught me how to get through pain, and just really callousing your mind with hard things and getting through it. So that's ultimately what it is, man, is just pushing through the grind on the day to day. When things get hard, don't give up.
Absolutely. No, I love it. And it makes a lot of sense too when you look at, especially in door to door, but in sales in general, when you go to recruit, you know, you look at like LA Fitness is a great example.
Right.
When they recruit their people, they're typically high producing athletes, you know what I mean? And they go right into the show space of doing the fitness shows and stuff like that. And across the board, anytime that, you know, I got a high producer, and I don't just mean like a high producer in terms of management. I mean a high producer in terms of the field, right?
Mm-hmm.
They typically came from a sports background.
Right.
It is what we saw a lot.
Yep.
So when we talk about it, because of most of your experience is in door to door, what do you think? What do you think it takes to be a top rep in door to door? You know, obviously you covered the mindset piece.
Yeah.
Is there certain, you know, you talked about structure a little bit, but is there certain sales tactics or maybe the recruiting piece? I know you're a great personal recruiter, so that's a huge piece too.
Trying. As an individual, if you're knocking doors, number one, you've got to learn from the best, right? You've got to learn from someone that has done it before, that has been a top producer, right? Because you may think that X amount of sales is really, really good, and then you go to another company, and then you're on a whole different level because that's the new standard, right? So your standards are kind of a key role to your success. Where you put your standards is kind of where your achievements are going to flow, right? So on the door-to-door space, man, when you are selling a product or a service, number one, you've got to be liked by the person that you are approaching, right? So the first thing you got to do is have a big old smile on your face, right? That's where success comes from. No one wants to buy from someone that is down or negative or doesn't have the energy that is going to match that person. Okay. So I would say find out where your energy is normally and amplify it by a percentage, right? To exceed, to bring the energy to the cell. Right. Right. And then you got to create interest ultimately. Right. And you got to you're there to create the need, right? For the person, you're bugging them. You're knocking on their door. They didn't approach you. So at some point you've got to switch it to there is a need in this area for this kind of service. Yeah. And that's exactly why I'm here today, to make sure that you're taken care of along with all of your other neighbors. And then of course, name dropping, right? If you're in the door-to-door space, make sure that you're name dropping. And even if you're not in the door-to-door space, name drop. Yeah, we've got these clients. They love, we work with Nike, blah, 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 whoever it is, name drop it, right? That gives you credibility on all aspects of sales. And then you basically go into, value. People want to buy things of value. And if you don't create enough value for that customer, then they're not going to pull out their wallets. So number one is building rapport and building a relationship, as everyone knows. And then, of course, building enough value to justify them pulling out the credit card. And then, obviously, number three, you got to be able to close the deal, right? Ask the right closing questions, whether that's a hard close, soft close, throughout that whole process. And there's a total great way, ethical way to go about that. Right. So those are kind of our top three winners as far as closing a lot of deals.
So I got to ask, did you ever go to the door and be like, hey, sorry for bugging you?
All the time. Ha ha ha. Very funny joke, buddy. Yeah, all the time. And you want to catch people off guard. So my approach a lot of times, I say, hey, I'm just here. They probably told you a little bit about why we're here. The dirt jump's actually going to go right over your front door. And it's going to be a little bit loud. You probably already heard about it, but the X Games found that your place was really, really good. So there's going to be a dirt jump that goes over your house, and then it's going to land on the backyard. So you don't need to worry about anything. I just need a quick signature. We'll make it super easy. And they're like, what the heck is this guy talking about? I'm like, no, it's super easy. And then I'm like, I'm just playing with you. You've probably seen our trucks with the triangle on it. We're taking care of a good majority of your neighbors, and then I name drop, and then obviously build the relationship. And they're already laughing at that point because they're like, what the heck? You're building a jump? Or I'll always tell people I'm the Girl Scout cookie guy, right? I'm here for the Thin Mints that you guys order. And they're like, what? What the heck? Yeah, we love Thin Mints. We didn't order them, but we'll take them. Right? So,
that it makes a lot of sense because so many, especially when it comes to door, they see you outside the door and they're like, shit. Yeah. All right, I got to deal with this. You know what I'm saying? So if you can pattern or interrupt them away from what they're already saying in their head they're going to say in order to get you off their doorstep, then you're in great shape from the beginning.
Totally.
Okay. So you had all this success working for other companies, you know, and every door-to-door salesperson in the back of their head, probably on day 2, they're like, hey, I could do my own thing someday. This is pretty easy, right? And especially if you have a product that you don't fulfill, right? You just detach the sales program and then attach it to another product, you know, like most sales orgs do. You guys do your own fulfillment. But especially if you have something like that, it's like, okay, I just need to know the pitch. You know, I need to be able to recruit people, and then I can start my own company, right?
That's right.
And it's one of the pain points in sales in general, no matter what sales you're in, door to door, business to business, telemarketing. You always have that person that is has that entrepreneur mindset, right? And obviously, you were one of those, and you went on to start your own company. What do you feel like is the reason that you felt like you had to do that, right? Because Ed Milet says, you know, let your people build their dream inside of yours, right? Or build, you know, your dream needs to be so big it can fit your people's inside of it, right? Where do you feel like it happened to where you realized, hey, I'm not going to be able to fit my dream inside of this company. I need to go out and do my own thing.
Yeah. I think for me, I think it changes all the time. But originally it was, man, I did really well. I could probably make a great profit from this if I continue to do it myself. And then it transitions quite a bit into, man, we're able to help so many people and their families. And that's ultimately right now the stage I'm in. If I have this company, right? If I have this this organization, I'm able to help people not only financially but spiritually, emotionally, to be happy because of the challenges that I've been through. I can help them along the way. So ultimately, that's changing constantly of why I decided to start a business. But ultimately, it started with freedom and making money, right? Because I knew at one point I wanted to make money for my family, to be successful, to grind everything out to make people proud. Ultimately, I wanted to make my wife proud. I wanted to make my family proud and the people around me. And I loved challenging myself to do it. And so that was kind of the process or the beginning stages.
No, I appreciate you answering that. So we're gonna keep it rolling here, but there you are, came back.
I don't know what happened there.
So let me ask you this. One of the reasons that people don't make that jump is because they recognize, oh, there's an operational aspect that I know nothing about. You know what I'm saying? Whether it be recruiting through ads, you know, setting up training systems, setting up the whole sales program, or on the fulfillment piece, like fulfilling the actual company, all that stuff. So, you know, 2 questions here. Where did you get the confidence that was like, hey, I can fulfill this product too? And then the second one is like, where did you get the operational know-how from? Right. So there on the system side, and that's one of the things I recognize about you when we first talked is like, I feel like you're almost better at operations than you are at sales, 100%. Which is crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. I learned a lot from the company I started with. Right. We always talk about in the industry we're in, or the like-minded type of people. I try to pick as many people's brains as possible. So I couldn't have been where I am right now. And we're still on the growth rate. We're still very small compared to a lot of companies. Right. But I would say, man, don't be afraid to ask questions, Don't be afraid to ask the people that are better than you at this one aspect. Maybe it's, man, they've got a lot of Google reviews. How did you do it? Or they've got really good technicians. How do you do it? Or they've got a really good sales program. How do they do it? Whatever aspect it is that you're trying to develop within your company, don't be afraid to ask questions. You're going to fail. That's just part of business. You're going to fail. You are absolutely going to fail. 100%. There hasn't been a business owner that hasn't failed throughout the process of success. Okay, so to answer your question, I went the old school way, where I bought a piece of crap truck. I bought a 2004, I think, Toyota Tacoma, really small, dinky little truck. I bought a rig to spray the houses, and so I'd pull up in the neighborhood and knock on the door, get the deal, run to my truck, and spray the house right then and there.
I love it.
Started with one deal. Went to the next house, knocked a door, ran and grabbed my truck, sprayed the house. Same thing, time after time, until now. We've got an office in Nashville and obviously here in Utah. And we've got, we're paying high salaries, and we've got technicians and sales teams, and it started from one attempt to knocking on a door, hoping that I would get a deal. And so, yeah, man, I had to have faith in myself. I had to have faith in my community, that they would pull through for me, that they would help me connect the dots, and yeah, just going through it, right? Nike, just do it. And that's all. That's literally all we did. It was just go out and knock a door, go out and talk to people, because you never open your mouth, right? It's a simple, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. If you don't ever take the shot, you never know what's going to happen. And I feel like regret is the biggest painful thing that you can experience in this life. Man, I should have done X. Everyone has felt that in their hearts, and that's okay. That painful feeling of regret is good. Use it to your advantage, and never have it again. Push through on a day-to-day and plan for success. And as you get bigger and better at your mindset, you'll get better at it.
Well, and that's the thing too, isn't it? Some people don't learn that until it's too late, until this crazy life event happens that's like, oh man, I should have, right? And you had something similar, something to that point happen with you and your mom. Can you kind of walk us through that? And at what point in the company were you at whenever that happened?
Yeah, so this was actually at a young age, all through high school.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my mom was diagnosed with cancer, and she was in the hospital on the day-to-day, getting treatments done all the time. So I'd have sporting events and then find time to go visit my mom. And there came a time where the doctor said, hey, she's got a certain amount of time left in her life, and she's not going to make it. And everyone's gone through those challenges where you get emotional and you almost feel broken, right? Everyone has felt broken in their hearts and in their souls, because they've either lost someone they care about or love someone so much they can see the pain that they're going through. And that's what my family experienced all through high school. And yeah, she was suffering in a lot of ways. My family was suffering in a lot of ways. So we had to come together, and put family first, because it was very, very difficult. I'm already hormonal at this age, right? In high school, your brain's like, man, I love my mom. I don't want to lose her. Right. So there would be days where I'd be walking home from school and I would just start crying, where I was broken, where my heart, I thought so deeply about losing my mom and not having her there to make food for me after school or whatever it was, just the small, simple things, that kind of broke my soul. But as a family, we had to step up and pray and fast. And I'm a big big believer in Jesus Christ, and that's ultimately what got us through the hard times. Sincerely, with all my heart, that is absolutely what got us through this hard time, during this time. And you know, what's challenging about this story is she got through it. She got through it. She went through the whole process of all the treatments, and then they do test for 5 years, and she was clear. She was clear for 4 years, and then it came back. So we had to go through that whole process again, of finding our peace and finding our comfort through Jesus, and then obviously coming together as a family to overcome this challenge, and really unify our culture as a family. And I'm happy to say today that my mom is alive and well. She obviously suffered a lot, a 10 to 15 year cycle, whatever you want to call it, was very painful. She still limps and has a whole bunch of knee problems and hip problems because of it was in her leg.
Yeah. She
bone.
basically had to destroy her body a little bit to get it out of there. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, they cut her leg off pretty much, and then had to sew it back on to get the tumor out of her leg.
Oh my gosh.
So, I'm just proud of my mom to push through that, right? Mentally, emotionally, and she's the best mom on planet Earth, and she's gone through a lot of challenges, and my dad went through a lot of those challenges with her, to be a partner, to fight through all the bills that you have to pay for the hospitals. I mean, just extreme commitment. And so those times, man, it's those times that you look back on and you're like, all right, we didn't give up then. We're not giving up now. So
I would argue, because I asked you earlier, like, what was it about you that made you different from all those other guys and that made you into a top rep? I would argue that was it.
Totally.
Like, you had stretched your capacity for what you could handle so much at a young age that by the time a door got slammed in your face, you're like, oh, this ain't shit.
Yeah.
My mom beat cancer. You know what I'm saying? Twice.
Yeah.
Right.
100%.
This ain't nothing. And you had to, when you were walking through that, I can't imagine what it's like to imagine a life without your mother. You know what I'm saying? And so you had to kind of like stretch your reality in a sense. And I feel like that conditioned you for what you're doing now, to where it's like, this is almost like, it's hard. Obviously, being a business owner is incredibly hard and will push you to some limits. But I don't think it's going to ever be able to push you to the limits that going through that with your mom did.
Yeah, losing someone's the hardest emotional thing that you can go through, right? In this life, I feel like is the most challenging thing that you could ever experience. So if you can get through that and fight through it for 15 years at a young age, and then you've already built that muscle, just like when you go to the gym. It's a muscle that you develop over time, getting through hard stuff. There
you go. Yeah, so the fact that you work that muscle at a young age, I feel like, me having 3 young kids, it just gives me more and more incentive to try my best to create adversity for them, in a healthy way, obviously.
Totally. Yeah.
And whether it be through sports, working out, through pushing them to kind of like go after, what they're passionate about, and, almost putting that parent or that parent hat to the side a little bit and being their life coach for a little bit,
Yeah. Go dig some holes in the backyard, son.
Exactly. My kids do that for fun right now. So
yep. For free. Yep. I love it.
All right. So obviously that was a huge expansion of your mindset. I thank you for sharing that story with us.
Sure.
I know it can't be easy to relive that. You've got that in your tool bag now, and obviously you've called on that to go through everything you have in business and expanding to Nashville and all that good stuff. So what's next for you guys? I know you're focusing on the sales team right now, and that's where your focus is at, because you guys have the operation side dialed in. But what's next for your company now?
I think for us right now, it's developing the leaders that we have right now, and then continuously finding more leaders. We need more leaders in our company. Everyone needs more leaders. And those people that are existing in your company, those people can step up and be those leaders, or you gotta find them, right? So that's kind of what we're seeking right now to grow and expand, is because, as you know, man, you can't do anything on your own. And you look at the word synergy, right? That's our company name, Synergy Pest Control. Synergy is basically doing something great with others, right? You cannot do something great alone, right? You look at all the big companies, every single Apple, Nike, Adidas, like whatever it may be, Amazon. Yes, there's a genius with that company that had to start it, but he branched off at some point to find leaders to help develop the systems, the processes, the growth, right? So yeah, ultimately that's the game plan. And then we want to really blow up our Nashville office, blow up our local office here in Utah, and then continue to expand to different states and here in the United States. So
I couldn't agree more, brother. I mean, that's a big part of it, right? So one of the biggest mistakes I made when I was younger, and you may have seen this happen in your business, is expanding like crazy, almost lowering the mark a little bit for becoming a leader to get more, because we were expanding so quickly, and our client needed more sales coming out of multiple locations. So we expanded. We didn't invest enough in our leadership, whether it was compensation or actual leadership training, and then more importantly, mindset and life training, And so that's one of the big things I preach to my clients now is, okay, we got to get out of this, like, hey, profit per rep type mentality. And you have to be teaching them things beyond what's profitable for us.
Right.
And then here's the crazy part, and this is how life works, right? Once you invest and you put that value forward for your guys, it's going to come back tenfold over time. You know what I'm saying? And it will end up being profitable. It just, you can't see it year over year marks, So I couldn't agree more. All right, brother, last question.
Yeah.
What does legacy mean to you, and what legacy do you want to leave behind?
Great question. I think for me, and again, this changes. Are you still there? I think I lost you.
No, okay. You're good.
Cool.
We're just focusing on your answer right now.
Yeah. For me, man, I wanna be on my deathbed and have no regrets. I want to be able to have been a good person during hard times. I want to be able to have changed as many lives as I possibly can. But what continues to, this year at least, this season of my life, is you don't need 1,000 followers. You don't need 1 million followers to change lives. In fact, you don't need 10 followers, whatever it is. And whether that's on social media or a neighbor, you need one life that you can change. It just takes one to be fulfilled. Whether that's a family member, whether that's someone within your company, whether that's a neighbor. There's not enough kindness and love in this world. So I would just continue to say, man, preach love, kindness, smile. The new wealth to me, at least in this season of my life, is happiness. And I feel most happy when I'm sharing my love and I'm sharing my smile to those around me. So that's what I would say is challenge people that are listening or going to listen to this, even if it's one person, man. Smile more. Try to reach out to sorry, I'm getting calls.
All right.
Reach out to people that need help. Reach out to people that that you're feeling that they might need your help. And everyone knows, right? Because we get so busy with our day-to-day. But don't forget about the people that got you where you are here today. So reach out to them, love them, care for those people around you. And I think happiness comes first before success. You got to be happy because people can see it and feel it. You got to find a way to be happy, and then success will follow. And find out what's important to you. You talk a lot about core values all the time, and I love that. So finding out what your core values are, develop those, and make it a part of your life.
I love it, brother. A legacy of love and kindness. Couldn't agree more. I could think of one other person that had that legacy. You know what I'm saying? And we're all trying to be like him, right?
That's right.
All right, guys, if you want to reach out to Michael, if you want to get involved with his company, they are doing amazing things and growing at a rapid pace. You can reach out to him at Instagram. His handle is Michael G. Park, and connect with him there. He does respond to his DMs. I know because I was in his DMs.
Always, brother.
Always. All right, brother. I want to thank you so much for sharing your story, sharing your mom's story as well. That was amazing. I think a lot of people are going to be touched by that. And so we appreciate it.
You got it.
And thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you, brother.
All right, let's get building.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Building Great Sales Teams podcast. We really do appreciate it. As you know, we believe that great leaders build great teams. How do you become a great leader? You learn from the greats. Join us at the $1 Million Mastermind put on by Ryan Stewman in Frisco, Texas, and learn everything that you need to learn to be that great leader. The link will be in the description below. As always, we ask that you like, share, and subscribe wherever you consume podcasts so you can stay up to date with the Building Great Sales Teams podcast. Let's get building.